Hi folks, welcome to Bear Mountain today. Well, it's spring, and one of the things that we were doing this last fall is we kind of made a decision that we wanted to start some hedgerows down around in our lower area, but we didn't really have any plants to do that with. We had some friends who had a variety of different types of small deciduous um, things such as like curly willow, some dogwoods, and pussy willow. So we thought, okay, well, what we could do is do some starts off those things. They give us some pruning clippings. And what we've got today is this. These are hardwood cuttings that we did back in December. And hardwood cuttings are really easy to do. When the tree is dormant, or you can do this with an apple tree, a peach tree, any any type of deciduous type of plant, rose bushes, etc., anything that's not on patent, that's very important. These have to be basically out in the open public domain. And what you can do is just take the dormant cuttings, a branch off of it, not a huge branch, we're talking about pencil size, like a number 2 pencil size, and cut it to about maybe 12 inches in length. And what we do is we bind them together and we stick the lower half of it after we dip it in some rooting hormone use. But you can use any kind of rooting hormone. And if you don't like using a commercial rooting hormone, and if you have access to like a willow tree, what you can do is take some of the newer growth of that year and just kind of mash it up and make a kind of a tea out of it. And what's in the bark of the salix species, the willow species, is a lot of hormone that is very similar to a rooting hormone, and it will help your plants root. And even if you don't have any access to that at all and you really don't want to use the commercial stuff, you can just put more cuttings into pots and let them and see which ones root. This time of year, after they've broken dormancy, is the time now we're going to remove them from the pots and we're going to pot these guys up. They're going to have, some of these guys may have come out of dormancy but actually have no roots, or maybe just have a callus on the end, and they need a little more time to grow on before you put them out in the field itself. In this pot we have curly willow and pussy willow, and in this pot we have 2 types of dogwoods. We have a red barked dogwood, and this one is just a green. I'm not certain what the actual varieties are. Dogwoods are somewhat native to the Pacific Northwest anyway, so from that standpoint, we believe these are off patent and there isn't any problem with it. These are all going to be plants in a hedgerow that are probably going to get no more than 12-15 feet tall, which is perfect. So let's start with the pussy willow and the curly willow and see what we got. So we potted these up with just compost and left them out. And we'll see if we got any roots as we take these things out. Seems like there's some roots in here. Oh my goodness, we have roots. Look at this. Okay, here's the curly willow, and it's got roots. So much so, these guys are almost bound together. Oh, my rubber band. What I did when I made the bundles is I put about anywhere from 15 to 20 sticks in a bundle, and then I just used rubber bands at the bottom just to kind of hold it together. But what you can see is we have roots. This is a curly willow, and there's nice little roots started on it. Some of them are a little more aggressive than others, but we have nice roots forming on these. So each of these are now an individual tree, and what we'll do is we'll pot these guys up into a deeper pot. These are called rose planters, but they're basically 6 inches deep, and we'll use some fresh compost here. Gotta pack it in here so it doesn't come out. It's very simple. We'll just put these guys in, pack some compost around it. Oops, got some extra stuff there. And that will grow on here for probably about, we'll leave it in the pot for at least a couple of months. So we're talking about something that's probably going to be ready to move on to the ground by July. Now that seems a little weird saying I'm going to be planting, deciduous things in July, but these guys are really going to be pretty aggressive, and the root system will be, pretty well formed in order for it to give it a shot. So that's a matter of when you look at these guys, they did really well. Now this is a willow species, so willow already has a lot of strong rooting hormone in itself. So those guys did really well. Looks like we got a lot of curly willow here, so we'll pot those guys up and that'll be great. Now let's check out the pussy willow, which is also in the salix species. It's in the willow family. You can see there's lots of roots on these guys. See, our geese are migrating. What we got is a rubber band on the bottom here. I'll just cut this off so we can pull it apart and see what kind of root structure we got. Oh yeah, lots of roots on this guy. So these are pussy willows, and it's the same thing. We'll pot these guys up into a 6-inch pot, let them grow on for a bit. This was really easy. Now you look at it, the width of it is about the pencil, and we buried it about 1/3 to 1/2, leaving the top buds open to open. This whole process took about 4 months. The reason we wanted to bring this to you today is this is a really easy way of propagating hardwood type things. Well, we don't really have any roots on this one yet.
What is it?
It's a dogwood, and there's very little on this one. So probably what we're going to do is just repot this guy back up.
Okay.
Now the green one, it wasn't quite ready yet, but it still has a lot of little roots on it, so we can pot that guy up. Kind of looking like that one wasn't quite ready yet either. So it looks like the dogwood wasn't ready. Only one of them had signs where it started. So what we're going to do is we're just going to repot this guy back up and let it sit for another couple of weeks and see if we get some more. We'll keep the bottom of it moist. So
was it a mistake to open those?
No, I don't think so at this point. As a way of checking it, we didn't really rip any roots or anything like that. So what we'll do is we'll just repack it in with really wet.
So
wet
that
compost.
doesn't hurt them?
No, not at this stage. The whole point is we want to keep the bottom of it moist. So this is nice, really wet compost. Excuse our woodpecker.
There he is. I see him now. Just entertaining us while we're working. So we'll pot those back, pot them back up,
Yep.
And just let them sit
Just
for
let
another
them sit and,
few weeks.
Keep them nice and moist, and we'll come back in a few weeks and double check them again. Usually, when you start to see the stuff leafing out, that's an indicator that it's got some root activity going on. But at this point, these guys are a little slower than the willows, but that's okay. Okay, some of the other things we're trying to do is get reestablished. Years ago we had a nice stand of what I guess was called catmint, and catmint grows a nice upright. It's kind of got a mild fragrance to it, but unfortunately it got kind of buried in the garden under blackberries over the years, and we found a survivor. So we dug this up and we've repotted it into this 2-gallon pot, and we're going to let it grow on for about a month or so, and we're going to add it back to the kitchen garden. Just as a note, catmint is really nice in terms of when it blooms. It almost looks like a little salvia. Doesn't really have many pest problems to it, and I think it's a great addition to like bouquets. We used to use it in our market bouquets all the time. So one of the things that we're doing for the kitchen garden is we're going around the property and we're finding orphan plants like this catmint, and we found some lemon balm and some lamb's ear, And we're going to be kind of propagating those things up too. So, and in a future video, we'll talk about softwood propagating and how we go about doing that with softwood cuttings. So anyway, I hope that what you see here today is kind of helpful. It's just a really inexpensive way to propagate things on the homestead or farm, and that you can use in your garden, or if you're raising a market garden, in your market garden. Do you have any comments or questions?
Just make sure they're off patent.
That is important. Do not. It's really important that if you are propagating these things, that they are not someone's intellectual property. And usually you'll know. I mean, if it's a unique and new variety, the chances are pretty good that that's on patent. But if you find an old rose bush on your property, the chances are pretty good that that rose is way long off patent. So there's no need to worry about propagating something like that. So I hope you have a good day, and thanks for watching. Bye.